love and happiness.
Love and Happiness's mission is to help 1 million couples. Dr. Vandy and Barbara Coulter are committed to reaching this goal. Love and Happiness has helped thousands over the years through their couples retreats hosted in various cities. Their popular Central Florida TV show, Love and Happiness, has been syndicated in several states. Their best-selling book, Love and Happiness: The Secrets to Creating Winning Relationships, has helped singles and couples alike learn how to build better relationships. It's no surprise that the Coulters are in high demand. Relationship subject matter experts featured on talk shows and national radio looking for real relationship talk. The Coulters' virtual retreats, social media platforms, Facebook live streams, and relationship masterclasses have put their mission to help 1 million couples in their sights. Dr. Vandy Coulter, Ph.D., a certified counselor with presidential status in the American Association of Christian Counselors, has a virtual counseling practice that serves CEOs, pastors, entrepreneurs, individuals, and couples who want their relationship to go from bad to good or good to great. Dr. Vandy has been featured on Fox, CBS, NBC, their national affiliates, and various media for the impact from his virtual counseling as a response to the relational health crisis during the COVID pandemic. Dr. Barbara Coulter, real estate investor and serial entrepreneur, complements and contributes to what makes Love and Happiness the perfect blend of real talk and fun. Our motto is no one gets their happily ever after. They create their happily ever after. After the hurt, after the disappointment, you can still be happy. And Love and Happiness is just what you need to have.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, everyone. We are excited today about Love and Happiness, as always. So today we have a great show. We took some questions on last week from one of the viewers, and
it got real sketchy.
Got really janky on the.
We were on the road, and the Wi-Fi was not.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
Resort we were at, I'm like, what's
going
on?
It was real sketchy.
Yeah.
So, because it was important to just really address, I thought those were great questions from Georgia.
Yeah.
We're going to go again. And we had a few comments of people telling us they couldn't really hear. So here we go.
Again. So I'm going to start with some questions. I will, pose questions to my husband. Anyway.
You should tell people when they share. It's always nice to share.
Share. Let people know we're on. So thank you. Yeah, share. Okay, let's just hop right in. The first question viewer had was, in this current day, what are the benefits of marriage?
All right,
everybody's shacking.
All right. Shacking.
That's over. I'm telling my age right now.
All right, the benefits of marriage.
All right. Versus shacking.
Versus not having a commitment.
Versus shacking. Just living together, right. Y'all know.
versus not having a ring on it.
No, people have rings. It's the contract. Everybody get a ring nowadays. You don't have the marriage contract.
You're saying people are doing rings without actually getting married?
Absolutely. Just the man will give the girl a ring just to shut her up, but he ain't not going to marry her.
That's an engagement ring, though.
Doesn't matter. In this day and age, you will get the ring. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. Okay. Just to shut you up. It's not not to marry you.
So you're not okay. So just to be clear, because I want to answer the right question. And listen, I want to say, even though I'm like super tired, I want to say that when I speak to answer these questions, I'm not just answering from my point of view. I am sitting in this seat with, decades of men barbershop talk, with decades of counseling men, and with decades of listening, and also decades of being. Right. All right. So there's a lot of perspective. Okay. That's real truth, ladies, that, this is real relationship talk. So I'm just saying, if you hear something that you don't really like, I'm cool with it. If you want to say, hey, I don't like that, we could talk about it right here. However, I got to give it to you straight. Yeah. All right. So if you're saying what's the benefits?
The viewer want to know what is the benefits of marriage in this current day and age.
Okay. So the benefits is that you have someone who's expressed an authentic commitment. Okay. And that's really important because I personally, real talk, and this isn't just me individually, this is a lot of men in general. Okay. When you see a 60-year-old man with a 20-year-old woman, that's kind of like gross. A real thing. It's kind of gross. It's a real thing though. And it didn't just start this generation. It's been generations of, a woman giving her best years of when she feels her best. And then he pivots and then he just gets a newer model.
So she supports him. She gives her body, mind, time, life,
everything. She gives her everything.
Her world. Yeah.
And the benefit of someone who at least made the commitment is that they're at least giving you the foundation that, hey, I really am trying to do this with you. I really am interested in having a life with you. Now, if they don't express that commitment and you are kind of just hanging in there waiting, you can end up, missing a lot of the things that you would like to have in a relationship, which is choices, because a lot of women often they start to settle out of circumstances. I'm not saying it's right, but the benefit is you feel as if this is someone who's actually really down with you, really saying, I'm with you. The benefit is, of course, everyone could say, I love you, but love being an action word, they're putting their work behind it. They're actually saying, let's build a life together. And the benefit of what two can do is so much more powerful than one. And if you have 1.5, or if you have a foot in and a foot out, it's really hard to have that confidence that, what are we doing? Have you ever felt like you're going to waste your time where you're like, what are we really doing? I don't want to spend my years of just thinking we're building when we're really just playing, So I think the benefit is that you get that kind of sense of security that they're willing to build with you, that you can kind of say, you know what, this is probably going to go into the years that, when it's really not about sex. There is a universe where when you get maybe, I don't know if it's 90, 80, I don't know, 100, there's a universe where it's not about sex. And it's really about having somebody who has your heart, has your best interest, has your back, want to build a life with you, and all of that your kind of good stuff. So having a real best friend that is committed. There's a sense of security you get. There's a sense of like completeness. Not that you were incomplete, but a complete in the sum of two that makes you just like, yeah, this is pretty cool. So I think that's the main benefit. Because if you say the benefit is sex, if you say the benefit is, a lot of married people have less sex than people who are single, and that's a real thing. I just think the benefit has to be the intangibles.
I agree. That was good stuff. Yeah. That was good stuff.
And of course, you guys can tell me what you think. All right, those of you watching, tell us what you think. Feel free to engage. Yeah. Right. Give us your perspective. All that good stuff.
Yep. The second question was.
You just rushing. What do you think the benefit is?
Well, I mean, there is a benefit. I mean, come on. It's like, why? It's old saying, why buy the cow and get the milk for free? And if you're going to give it all your goodies up, he's not going to marry you. Like, why would you waste your mind?
People, real talk, they have sex before marriage and they still get married.
Yeah, but if you're shacking with someone.
Shacking?
I'm 51 years old.
She's old school.
So I'm 51.
She grew up in that church
still look 25.
Where you had to work.
You're shacking. It's
for
like
your relationship.
You're shacking. They're not going to marry you. Why would they want to do that? And then women will settle because they'll go, okay, well, they'll begin to believe the lie of it's just a paper.
No,
everything changes.
I guess what I'm trying to say, honey, is that in the content of, each season, each generation, each dispensation is different. And the reality is, there was a time where, if we even use it from a Christian standpoint, that many Christians were browbeat over premarital sex. Okay. The reality is that because there's so many single moms in the church, it's obvious there were premarital sex.
Or they could have been married and divorced.
No. I'm not talking about that. Okay. Generally speaking, there's a lot of never got to the altar.
Okay, true.
Baby mama drama, daddy, And all I'm saying is, in context to that, I don't think that in this society where sex is in TV, movies, cartoons, social media, it's everything. I don't think it's a conversation of like she's giving the goods away. I think she may be casting her pearl on the person who's not going to kind of appreciate her if she's not careful. The sense of going into something that's solid allows you to believe that, whether my core values are, which we hope and pray that they are, the kind that says I will wait till marriage to really show that you're not just interested in what's in me or in my body between me, but you're interested in my heart, right? That's really ideal. Okay, that's cool. There's also a universe where you just want to be able to trust the fact that they're making a commitment to say, we're going to go to that
all the way
to that place of where you don't get to walk away just because you had a bad moment. Right. You don't get, where you don't just get to pivot and build a new life. After I thought we're building together, because that pulls the rug from under people, the trust and stuff. So I just think that, people just got to kind of look at the big picture. And a lot of times I think women are real good with this, from me listening to women for years, at just trying to look at the man to say, do I have a future with him? Do I have a future with him?
And I think, okay, I'm not even good at it, but yeah.
She's going to say, shagging. No. All right. So what's the next question?
The second question is, do men even value marriage anymore? The 21st century
I started to just say, why should he? All right. I'm just saying that, why should he? But I would say differently. I think that there are some men who will absolutely value marriage if they are being, women. What you need to know about men is what we really want is women that make us better versions, that challenge us, women that
accountable,
that make us accountable, that even while we lead, we're accountable. We know I have to be better because this person brings the better side of me out, versus just accepting or settling for whatever it is that I do. Women really want, men really want a woman that's really going to have those kind of qualities that says, you know what, man, she makes me a better person. I don't want to let her down. There's when a man is evolved where he can love, because women are more mature than men, you get there faster. So we get there later. But once we finally get to that place where we're like, I really do want to find someone to build a life, to love. The person that we generally will pick, if we're operating with a long term mindset, we're picking the person that we feel doesn't just give us this part, because this is a big part for us as men.
What does this part mean?
You want to make it that kind of video? Because it could be that kind of video. We'll go virtual fast. Or they could be, or they will get also the mind, the heart, the characteristics, the soul, that they could say, man, this is the kind of person I want to wake up to. Right. This is the kind of person I want to tell other people.
25 years.
Yeah. So did I answer that?
Yeah, that's great.
I feel like we went 9 ways on it.
Well, the third question would kind of tie into what you just answered, but I'll just say it. This person want to know, is settling in the relationship more so the woman or the man?
Wait, read it the way it's
settling in relationships. Okay. Is settling in relationships seems more in women? Seen. No glasses on.
Okay,
seen more in women than men. I don't have no glasses on.
That's why I said read it again. Because
is it seen more in women than the men?
Settling.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a loaded question again?
That's what the viewer said. Is settling in relationships seen more in women than men?
That's just so obvious that that I think that maybe from a woman's view, you try to figure out. I wonder if men feel the same way.
I think she meant also settling. Like my standards was here, but now I'm like 25, 28. I'm 30. I'm pushing 35. I'm gonna settle. He don't have to have a good education. Well,
he don't have to have all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, he is. Okay. My list shrunk. He got teeth. Okay, I'll take him.
Right.
he don't live with his mama, I take him. Settling versus,
But it is more common, I believe, in women.
Because men want what they want.
And a lot of women build a bear. They get one guy for sex. They get another guy for financial support. They get another guy for, come on, ladies, y'all in here, chat. Tell me I'm not crazy.
No, you're right. But, I've heard stories.
All I'm saying is a lot of times women are building it. It's like Frankenstein, putting it together with different parts, But there is more settling. I think that in not just because there's more men and women in the world, and guys have more options in that regard. But also, I just think because every guy is not equipped to get, any woman. Every guy is really just not, a player. He doesn't have that kind of game swag to just pull everybody. A lot of times, he's just more purpose driven,
right?
And he's not going to settle unless it triggers those things in him. Whereas a lot of women, you guys can love in a different way. You guys can, okay, like you said, he's got teeth and this, so let's rock. So I think that women are definitely, women watching, if you guys feel differently, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but I think women settle easier than men.
I agree 100%. I think women do settle easier. I know I was 29 when I met you, and I had like, hear ye, sheep, and God gave me
none of them.
No, but what I was going to say is God, for me, my personal, he exceeded my expectations. The things I had in the list, whatever, he gave me was.
So if you don't know our story.
And you don't have to say it.
Well, if you don't know our story, when we met, she saw me and I didn't see her. And I had none of the main qualifications in her list because I was previously married. And my first wife, if you don't know my story, had died the day before my birthday, getting me gifts. And I was raising our children who were 3 and 5 at the time. And so now fast forward, they're closer to like 11 and 13.
15, something like that. Yeah.
14, they're older.
Young, yeah.
But in any event, she had a list that said, I don't want a man who has kids. I don't want a man who ever been married, that kind of stuff.
Than me. You were like
older. And yeah,
7.5 years older than me.
Yeah. So I had none of the things on the list, but Yeah.
But you had something I love.
Yeah. So she was inspired, and the rest is that. But that's to the point of the question.
No, but what I was saying is our date. That's what made me think about our date when I was interviewing you.
Okay.
On our date, I was like, I knew I wasn't going to just settle for anything.
Right.
I was looking. I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm 29. My biological clock is ticking. I need to get married and have a baby.
But isn't the clock a real thing?
It is a real thing. But
because
guess what?
women do feel like, even with childbearing years, they feel like, I need to get somebody who's going to be there. I don't want to raise a kid by myself.
40, 45. I mean, I was,
Still.
Yeah, but most women who are
doing it at 60.
But most women who are waiting to have children in their late 30s, they have money. They have a career established. They've already, if you waited that long, you are self-sufficient. You can take care of yourself. You don't need a man to help you take.
Yeah, but a lot of women aren't looking for men to take care of them. There are many who are, but there's a lot of women who are looking for someone to love them,
right?
The way that they want to love back. So the baby thing to me is like secondary. If they're whatever age they are, it's really, women are not. Some women are probably like, ooh, he'd be a good baby daddy. Some yeah, okay, I get it. But a lot of women are really looking for partners in life that they can, build with. They want to know what kind of dreams do you have? I dream this way, that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But
what my point was, I was not looking to settle. And even when you took me on our first date, which is
I'm teasing them. In my head, there's a whole conversation.
Stop it. But my point is, even though I was 29 years old, that's my point. And without children, I was like, when you took me out our first date, I was like, I had standards, and I'm like, I'm not going to settle. So a lot of women, they do, because I was 100% whole in myself. So sure. I would, yeah.
And that's what drew me to you.
And I said to you, I'm not looking to date. I'm too old for dating. I'm looking for marriage.
Right.
So a lot of women, if they go into,
listen. Let's be frank. Now, if we don't have real relationship talk, let's just be real.
Okay.
Your conversation of, I'm not looking to date, I'm looking at marriage, that would only fly if I was willing to hear that conversation. If you say that to the general dude who's like, I don't even know your last name yet, I don't even, then you already like led the wrong way.
I knew who I was.
Yeah, and you was going to be alone. I am. If you met the wrong.
I'm God's favorite daughter. I don't have to settle. You know, I had such a big. It was.
She getting ready to make me go there. I'm trying not to go there.
What I'm saying, listen to me. What I'm saying is the reason why 22 years ago.
All it takes is one person to type go there. I'm going there.
Randy.
What? Can you get to the next question?
Anyhow,
get to the next question.
Fine. We're running out of time anyway. Fine.
No, I'm about to go there. We got time.
Stop.
Go ahead.
The next question is, nowadays, having a baby first seems to be the prerequisite to getting married.
Right.
How do you operate when it seems like this is the new norm?
Okay, so again, I'm talking from a guy's standpoint.
Yeah, right? the viewer wants to know.
I'm representing the world of men for women to try to understand how we framed it. So the exact question is, nowadays, having a baby first seems to be a prerequisite to getting married. How do you deal with that? If you're meaning you don't have kids and you're like, seems like I gotta have his baby before he makes a commitment. No, you do not.
He's still gonna make the commitment.
That's right. If he won't make the commitment and you have a baby, you have to be comfortable knowing this is probably going to end in a way that causes you to have explanations on your first date with someone else years later. Like, well, he's, and this is how, and she or he is 6 or 7, that kind of stuff. It's just going to get like that. That's just accept that, don't stick your head in the sand and say, when I have his baby, he's going to marry me and we're going to live happily ever after. You didn't start it with him saying you and me forever. Even if he's saying that, his fruit should back it up. It should look like you and me forever. Guys, I don't mean to blow our spots up. I'm just saying it needs to look like I've already made sure that you and I are good. And then we bring a child in that we both get to raise together. And
especially if that was not your intent. As the female, you just didn't want a baby. You wanted the man. You wanted the whole package.
Yeah.
And he's saying, "Well, this is what I want. I just want the baby.
Yeah.
I don't want."
If you just want, because you might be at that age where you say, "I just want a child. I'm good in a relationship. I don't need it." That's different. We're not talking about that.
No.
We're only talking about the ones who seem like, man, if everybody got to have a baby to have a man, I guess I need to have this baby. I would say you're gonna make a mistake. I would say don't do it. I would say if they're in a hurry, especially if they got 1 or 2 babies from 1 or 2 other women, it's like you're just gonna line up and be another.
Or if you're
generic.
thinking that you're the because you may think, oh, I'm his only baby, but I'm like, no, you might not be, honey.
Yeah.
Don't.
Okay. So it's not normal as a prerequisite. It's only if you reduce the standards to accept that lower level of interaction. Right. Somebody who's really not on your level. If you got to lower it, that means they wasn't on your level. So you probably want to keep your level, because the person at your level wouldn't come at you with have a baby first. Yeah.
The next question and final question is, what do you think the biggest opportunity? What do you think the biggest opportunity there is for Christians dating in the 21st century?
The biggest what?
The biggest opportunity there is for Christians.
For Christians that are dating
in 2021.
In 2021, the biggest opportunity for Christians dating. I would say if you're the opportunity is if you're dating someone who shares your faith, that is alone by itself like at least like an advantage going into the relationship, because it's hard if you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't share your faith values. If you're both in the same level, because some people tag themselves as Christians. And if it were not for them tagging themselves, you'd never know, because their life does not look like they even
know God,
other than their daily visit to church or weekly visit to church on Sundays or whenever they go. But what I'm saying is, the opportunity is, if you share the same values, then that means that you also share the same future perspective that, hey, we want to get to know each other. We want this thing to be, right in God's eyes. We want it to feel that that we're building something together. So the way that the fruits of the Spirit are, one of them is patience. So I'm not in a hurry start a child with you or jump in bed with you.
Right.
I'm more interested in getting to know you and your heart and your spirit and really get to know you. Right.
And that covenant that individual has with God, your relationship mirrored. It should mirror the covenant. Because with us, you know, I was a minister. I was, you know, on fire for the Lord, still is. I was very active in my church and I had standards. Well, and you did the same thing. So it's like, you know, your covenant to God should reflect your relationship.
Yeah, but because we were both ministers, I think is more unique. I don't think that the general relational, you know, Christian dynamic is going to have two, you know, individuals who are both serving and you know, sacrificing in that way. But I think that the faith component to the point is we have this opportunity that, you know, the one thing that from a faith perspective for me, I always said when I meet the person I want to marry, I expect that we can disagree, but I think we can agree on what the Word of God says. So if we can settle it by submitting ourselves to what the Word of God says, for us as Christians, that's half the battle for me, you know, because there's times where you're off or I'm off, but at least that having that relationship with Christ allows us to say, let me just allow myself to be more like what I'm supposed to be, which is forgiving, which is not, you know, trying to stir up the pot, which is more, you know, patient, which is more long suffering. So I, you know, I can hang in there. And so I think the opportunity.
And I pray my partner through.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Prayerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the opportunity for Christians in this season, above all, is it gives Christians the opportunity to say, hey, if we're both sharing the same faith, you know, we have more of a hope that, you know, faith is the substance of things hoped for. Like we have more hope that this can actually turn out well. You know, this movie can end, you know, well. Like for us, it's going on 20 years of marriage, 22 years being together, and it really ended well. You know,
we still love each other. We still like each other. We still like joke around and have fun, and we still date. And it's not stale. It's not old.
Still have to have times where one was subject to get on the other one's nerve.
The intense moment of fellowships.
There is that where you just
intense moment of fellowships.
But the key is it doesn't undermine the whole pot. You know, it doesn't mess up the whole relationship. So that's kind of where I'm at.
And so it is 11:33.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions or like us,
you can hit us at our website, which is loveandhappiness.tv. I'm gonna look here and see if we got. Well, I know I got that whole follow us stuff, so you can do that. But you know, and having said that, also if you are somebody who, you know, we love having influencers and people who are, you know, doing the social thing, or, you know, maybe you're just a great couple and you want to talk about some real relationship talk. Maybe you overcame some stuff. Love to have you, you know, virtually like this, and we can just have a wonderful conversation. So you can hit us up and that whole trip. So that's kind of where we're concluding. You know, I think marriage is still important to men, given the right circumstances and the right person. And the right person is going to need to have worked on themselves enough that they know who they are, that they are not willing to settle, that they understand. It's the truth. They understand I am a Mercedes. And if you don't want a Mercedes, that's okay.
That's right.
You don't have to start compromising because someone said, no, I'd rather have a BMW. You don't have to say, well, no, I must not be no good. No. There's people who love to just drive Mercedes, and you just have to be okay with knowing I have value. You know, I'm worth it. I'm worth the wait. I'm worth you treating me with the right respect. You know, the horror stories that I've heard, you've heard from women about what men have subjected them to is almost, it's offensive as a man to know, having, you know, daughters and sisters, that a man can actually have that kind of authority. And it's only because the woman begins to lose her sense of self because she loves so fully. And I'm saying, just on the front end, just be that kind of person, the purpose in your heart. I'm going to always make sure that you remember what I'm worth, you know, that you can't lose sight of my worth. And maybe we should do a whole show on the you know, how to keep your worth, or how to, you know, if you've given if you devalued yourself already, how to start, adding value back to yourself in that relationship if you still love them,
right?
Or how you do it in the future when you say, in the future, I have to be careful, because a lot of times women will repeat the same cycle. And I call it this just Friday the 13th, part 5, part 9, part 10. And they keep blaming the other victims, the other men, when really you're Jason and you are the one that is allowing this thing to look this way.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe we talk about that next week or something like that, because I think it's really important that women have to start to get their value. I just think that that's so
reclaim
important.
Themselves.
Yeah. Because a lot of women have already given so much to men,
right,
in terms of their own self-worth, that it's crazy. It's called self-esteem, but you as women, you tend to give it to men, and they get to do what they want with your sense of self, to the point that you start to question yourself, who you are.
Yeah, and I think it's because that whole Adam and Eve thing.
Well, don't think because we out of time. We'll
do it next week.
I think it's cool for next week.
Yeah, got some good stuff on that piece.
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see you next week, probably talking about something along the line we just did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Let's see if I can